Folks, we got to challenge our frenemies over at Broncos Breakdown, Creepy Moose. They just set a new record for subs gained on a single video. 93, folks. And Moose, he was talking some smack. He said, there's no way the Chiefs Kingdom can do the same thing on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I said, Moose, we will prove you wrong. We are one of the fastest growing fan bases in the National Football League, and that means there's more subscribers headed our way that want daily news and rumors, want to be a part of our live shows, breaking news, Q&A, mailbags, and more. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and we will get started with today's show. It is I, your fearless leader, the somewhat capable host, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We are talking all about Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. He made an appearance this past week on the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce and his brother Jason Kelce. And he laid out the game plan of what's ahead for the Kansas City Chiefs offense in 2025. And I got to tell you, this is some very good news for Chiefs fans, as we've seen the Chiefs have a very good offseason, and now we're just waiting for the pads to come on and get to the football field and see some live game action. And according to Matt Nagy, one of the things he was talking about was that this offense, last year what we saw with what kind of unfolded with the problems on the offensive line, with the injuries to guys like Pacheco and Rashee Rice, and among others, was that they had to shift to plan B and had to make do with that. And yet they still got to the Super Bowl even with plan B. Well, now, with where they're at specifically, with Rashee Rice and Isiah Pacheco healthy, they can move back to plan A and how the offense is supposed to look in its full form. And one of the things that Nagy talked about in this interview with Travis and Jason Kelce was the optimism he has to the game plan that he's putting forth for this Kansas City Chiefs offense in 2025. Here's what he had to say via the New Heights podcast. It's huge for us. These guys don't understand how lucky they are to be able to have Trav help them in what they do. Understanding how to practice, how to run routes, the little details of understanding how to take coaching. I look at it this way, all right? If Rice and Pacheco are fully healthy, and not just at the beginning of the season, but stay that way, then to an offense that went to the Super Bowl last season, you are adding a top 5 running back in Isiah Pacheco. I believe that when he's at full strength, he's right up there among the best of the best. And a top 10 receiver in Rashee Rice, who looked that way prior to his injury last year. So you put that as the baseline. Okay, we did this basically. I know Pacheco was back before the season ended, but he didn't look like his old self. If you have a baseline of, okay, this offense was a Super Bowl offense, even with these things holding them back, and now you add to it, I know that they didn't really spend much in free agency, didn't make any huge trades, but just getting players back were the free agent moves and trades that they made, adding essentially a top 5 running back and a top 10 receiver to this lineup here. You look at Isiah Pacheco, what he's done so far in his career. That best season was that 2023 campaign when he rushed for 4.6 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns, nearly 1,000 yards off of 205 carries. In 2022, his rookie campaign had 5 touchdowns, 830 yards, 4.9 yards a carry. I think a healthy Pacheco is in potential to put up his best numbers yet. He can easily have over 1,000 or 1,100 yards. And his workload is going to be manageable, too, when you have some other backs like Kareem Hunt that can help out in short yardage. Rashard Smith, of course, a part of the equation as well. Things are looking up, I think, for Isiah Pacheco. Meanwhile, for Rashee Rice, a very good rookie year for him in 2023 with nearly 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns off of 79 catches. And then it got off to a great start to last year prior to the injury with 288 receiving yards in 4 games played, with 2 touchdowns. And really that was like 3 1/4 games played because he got injured pretty early in that game against the Chargers. I think there is a chance that with this offense, getting better on the O-line, adding Simmons and Jalen Moore, moving Kingsley to guard, and then getting a healthy Rashee Rice and Isiah Pacheco at full strength, there's potential with not only having the most talented quarterback in football and the greatest tight end to ever play the game, and then Noah Gray, and among others, all those things we mentioned, that this could be the NFL's best offense in 2025. I don't think that's a stretch to have as an expectation at all whatsoever. Prediction time. Our pinned comment today: will the Chiefs have the best offense in the NFL? Type Y for yes, in for no. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in and let us know what you think. Now, let's not forget about Travis Kelce. We've said this on this program over the last several months that his role is going to change. He's no longer going to be the number one option in the passing game. That role shifts to Rashee Rice. But even with that said, I look at Travis Kelce, and he can make an impact on the game in multiple ways. And here's what I mean by this, folks. Not just the raw receiving statistics, okay? But because he is still a threat anytime he takes the football field, even if it's not a consistent thing each and every week, because of the fear of what Kelce can do, that's going to take attention away from other guys and open things up. And then when you've been in this thing as long as he has, with the Super Bowl titles, the All-Pros, and all of that, there's a thing or two that you can learn from a guy like Travis Kelce, who has been an outstanding teammate over the years as well. And that was another thing that Matt Nagy stressed when talking about some of these younger receivers like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. If you want to see how it's done and do things the right way, who better to learn from than Travis Kelce himself? Here's more from Matt Nagy. Those two young guys, Rashee and Xavier, what they have with Trav and what they have with Coach Reid and Patrick Mahomes, it's special. It honestly makes coaching fun and lets them grow. We see the growth and development, and that's the exciting part. Everyone is so selfless, not selfish, by the way, just to be clear. Kelce is the best teammate that you could ever ask for. He has always been about the team and not been about himself. And I think Travis would be the first to tell you, if his numbers have to dip because other guys are performing well, that's fine with him. At the end of the day, Travis Kelce is all about getting wins and competing for championships. And I think that's only going to help out Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, especially when you talk about the fact that they can get feedback from him and learn from him directly. And you look at Travis Kelce here, there's still plenty to offer. We're not just saying that he's going to be a coach in a helmet here, okay? That's not what's going on. There's still a significant impact that he can make in the receiving game as well. Maybe he's not going to have a season like he did in 2022, but if he could do better than what he did in 2023, in addition to being that sounding board and that good teammate and also being that decoy to open up things for the other receivers, then that's a really good fit, I think, for this Chiefs offense. And you look at Xavier Worthy last year, as Matt Nagy was talking about learning from Travis Kelce of what Xavier Worthy could do, we saw a totally different version of Xavier Worthy in the second half of 2024. And he finished the year so strong, became such a threat in this Chiefs offense. And you saw the numbers were pretty solid, 59 catches, 638 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Also got involved in the rushing game as well. Had some rushing touchdowns, averaged about 5.2 yards a carry, 3 rushing touchdowns to be exact. Learning from Kelce and seeing where he could potentially find his spots, I think that's going to help out Xavier Worthy in this offense as a whole. When I look at Worthy of what he could do in year 2, when I add in a healthy Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce coming back, the potential is just sky high for this offense here. I don't want to say that the expectation is that this team is going to score 40 points a game. That's not happening, especially with the way we know that Andy, traditionally speaking, loves to air it out and score points in the first half and then wear you out in the second half and put the game away. That's not what's going to happen. They're not the Cincinnati Bengals in that sense that have to outscore everybody because they have a defense here. This team's going to play complementary football. But with that said, that complementary football with those weapons that are there, they are going to get the most out of it, and I think that you're going to like the results that you see by the end of 2025. How about Matt Nagy, the man that's been talking about all this? Do you believe in him and his ability to get the job done here in Kansas City? You got 2 options here. Type B for believe, D for don't. Be 100% honest with me and let me know in the comments section below. Got some new merchandise, folks. This Chiefs hoodie, and I know what you may be thinking. First off, It is a little warm outside. Why would I need a hoodie right now? Well, it's a short sleeve, so it is manageable. And it'll be great when the season gets here, when things get colder as well. We have an insane deal. All right. This hoodie here was $55. All right. Now it's only $33, folks. That is quite the bargain, if I'd say so myself. And I know that you're looking for T-shirts and some other stuff. That link we have there, chatsports.com/Chiefs sale, has plenty of T-shirts and all that too. But you might as well get this now and thank yourself later for having it in the closet, folks. All right? Get out of the closet and go to chatsports.com/Chiefs sale to get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Chiefs sale to get yours now. My take, the only thing that can stop the Chiefs offense, the only way that they can be beaten is if they beat themselves. And by that, I mean health. And it's a big if because we've gone through the list. You guys know Mahomes was banged up at one point last year. He ended up being okay. Pacheco was banged up. Rice was banged up. Hollywood was banged up. We've seen this before, right? If they can stay healthy, then nobody is stopping this Chiefs offense. You look at what we're talking about here. Mahomes, as good as it gets at the quarterback position. Pacheco, when healthy, a top 5 back. Rashee Rice, a very good receiver, I think top 10 caliber. Xavier is emerging, and his role is going to increase. Hollywood Brown might be the best number 3 receiver in football. Jalen Royals, the sky's the limit with him. Travis Kelce still has plenty to offer, and Noah Gray's coming off of a breakout season last year as well. I think, folks, it's not a stretch to say we're talking about a record-setting year. And Patrick was asked about earlier this week when he did that interview with Kay Adams that this might be the best receiving core he's ever had. This is shaping out to be really good for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the offensive line, I think, is much better than what they're given credit for with those additions they made with Simmons and Jalen Moore and among others as well. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. For more Chiefs coverage, subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.